Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel for the first time. If this is the first video you're watching, then apologies in advance because the house is in utter chaos. It's a big grand mess and I can't even believe I'm making this video because this is my first very casual, very real vlog. And that's only because I decided I would share the moving process, all the high points and the low points as well, because I've been doing this since 2018 on what seems to be a continuous basis. And while I am not definitely in love with the process, at least this time we are getting the help of professional packers and movers to come for most of the packing, but that doesn't mean I don't have my work cut out for me. So I'm just going to share the whole process that we are going through and a few things that I feel makes it much easier when you actually move into the next or the new home. So let's get started. Now I strongly suggest that when you have original packaging come with your various products, appliances and so on, please do retain them. It's extremely useful when you move. If you're renting and you know you're going to be on the move a lot, then this is something that you should do, because even if you're getting packers and movers, it's still good to have some of these original packaging because they can really keep your product safe. The second thing that we do, and I recommend you do too, is when you move into your home, your rented house, you take inventory of everything that's been given to you by the landlord on the day or during the week that you move in. And this is very useful. We did this in Singapore as a mandatory activity actually, because then at the end of your tenure you can cross-reference and see how things were when you first moved in and how you're leaving the place. So in this case, our inventory included things like curtains that the landlord had already provided, and we had a track of which curtains came in which room and how many pieces were there and so on, and also the conditions of the walls, what nails were already there, what lamps were already there, because we tend to change and shuffle things about quite a bit, and after a year you tend to forget where what was. So this is something very useful, and it takes you far lesser time to put things back in its original order this way. My next suggestion, and something that I personally follow, is that moving homes is never a one day or even a week worth of activity. It usually takes a lot more planning and time than that, especially if you want to do it stress-free. What I do is that I typically look at it a month in advance. At least that's what we've done here in India, but in Singapore we had 60 days to prepare ourselves for the move, and that's especially important if you are moving countries. But in this case we took a month, and this is very important because you have certain jobs, tasks that cannot get done at the last minute. Like, let's say I prefer to do a lot of washing and cleaning of my products before I take it to the new home, and so this is done in batches over a period of time. Which brings me to the next point as to what are the things that I typically tend to clean before I like to move to a new house. Some of the items are curtains. Now you can see a nice big stack of curtains here. These have been washed over the past week or two even, and that's because I like to use the excuse of when I remove the curtains from the curtain rods to just put them in the wash. And of course in our Goa home we have been blessed with such a big terrace and so much of bountiful sunlight, so it makes sense to clean it before I take them to Bangalore. And this is just one of the items at home. Certain other items like your puja items, all the brassware that have collected oil or dust, it's always nice to pack them in a clean condition and then take them to the new place. The next on the list is, of course, if you are not looking at wet cleaning, there are some products that you will still need to air before you pack for the final move, and that's items like carpets. So if you have the space, like we do in this case, it's best to air things like carpets because they can collect a lot of fungal sort of spores and of course smell. So it's very nice if you have the sunlight and the space to put them out and air them before you pack them. The next to do on the list is dismantling of large products such as wardrobes. Now in a rented home, if you've invested in your own wardrobes and you have to move, then you have to consider how you're going to dismantle them. Are you going to do it yourself, or are you going to ask the packers and movers if they will do it? In our case, they said they don't dismantle wardrobes, so then we got in touch with our Urbanladder customer support, from where we had purchased 2 wardrobes, and they said they do offer the service of dismantling as well as assembly at their next address for a certain cost, which is very useful. But we also had this bunk bed in our child's room, which was from Pepperfry, and they do not have a service where they dismantle and assemble furniture again. So in that case, you will have to get in touch with a local carpenter who can do that for you. So this is something again that you will need to work in advance, so that you're not, at the last minute, you're not having to face the hassle where you're not able to move these large products. Other things, like if you installed your own ACs, also require this sort of care. Again, if your AC is under warranty, it's best you get the AC manufacturer to come and do the removal for you, and not to do it yourself or through any other third party. And in our case, luckily for us, our house owner wanted to retain the ACs, so we have just left it behind. He has paid us for it, so the ACs are going to be here, so that's one job less. And then, depending on how adventurous you've been in your rented house, like with us installing these pendant ceiling lamps, you might have some special products that you'll need to bring in, like an extra tall ladder to remove them. Again, in our case, we got very lucky. Our landlord purchased this lamp from us, so we have the opportunity to just leave it behind here, because it's not something that would have easily fit into our new house anyway, and it looks so perfect for this home. So we're glad to leave it behind, and no hassles there. Now, coming to things that we changed in the house and caused any kind of minor wall damage. This is the wall where we had put up the wooden face mask. Now here we've removed the mask. We had put it up with the help of hooks that we had just glued on the wall. So there was very minimal damage. So we've just covered it up with wall putty, and we will be touching it up with a little bit of wall paint. Both of these products I always have right from the start, because I always find it very easy to maintain the house with these 2 products. Then there are a few other things in the home that we had done with drilling nails into the walls, such as the shelves we had created, open shelves we had created around the TV unit, and then we had this open shelf for the puja. So these are 2 aspects which our landlord was happy to retain. He said, you guys can leave the shelves behind, you don't have to remove them, but I wanted them because I might use them in the next house. So I decided to remove, and I've patched up those places as well. In the kitchen, however, we've decided to leave it because we had given it a polish which matched the rest of the cabinetry there, and I don't need it in the house that I'm going, because there's extensive cabinetry there. So I'm just going to leave that behind, and that's one less task for me to do. So this guest bedroom, which was used as our storage room when we first moved in, is back to being our storage room as we move out. We have our dismantled wardrobes here, and they've been segregated so that there's no confusion when the packers and movers come, to ensure that all pieces of one wardrobe actually end up together, especially because one of these wardrobes is going to our home, our own home, which we've rented out in Bangalore. And that's that. Now we needed actually to dismantle the cot before the Urbanladder guys came to dismantle the wardrobe, because this room is so tiny, there's hardly any place to work here, and we knew that if we don't dismantle the cot, they're going to find it very hard. So that's what we did, and the cot has been dismantled and stored in the bathroom. So it's actually quite a useful place. If you let it just stay dry and don't use it, you can use it in times like this to store stuff that otherwise would take up too much floor space. So that's what we've done, and then we have some of these carton boxes holding the rest of our clothes and miscellaneous items, which I'm also planning to segregate. So this brings me to one of my last points, which is, if you guys have packers and movers doing most of the job for you, that's great, but still invest some time in segregating certain types of products that you're very specific about how it's handled. Like in my case, I had a lot of DIY material which I didn't want them to really bunch together, so I've already done the packing of those into 2 suitcases. And when it comes to my clothes also, I like them segregated in a certain way, so I'm going to do that and keep it so that they just have to put it into boxes. And these paper plates, we are leaving it behind. We told the landlord, do you want us to remove it? And he said, no, leave it behind. So it's going to remain in the guest bedroom. I think this is where he's going to set up his own cot. So yeah, I decided to just leave it behind. So we've come to the point, which is what to do about your plants when you move. So in our case, we had a lot more plants here than we can support in our Bangalore home. It's much smaller, especially when it comes to outdoor space. So we had to plan what plants we don't want and then whom to give it off to. So we gave it away to a friend here who resides in the same community. So that got taken care of. Now for the plants that remained, it's always good to give them a little bit of TLC before the packers and movers come to pack them up. That is to water them, fertilize them, use any insecticide that may be necessary on certain plants, and any small repotting or whatever, because we don't want our plants to be a wet mess on the day the packers and movers are here. And we also want to try and reduce the stress on them during the journey of the move itself and relocating to pretty different weather conditions. So this is giving them a good start. So last 2 points to make. One is not about household products, it's about the car or any vehicle that you may own. If you're shifting states, then it's best to look at what paperwork you'll need. Now we are shifting our car again through packers and movers, so we're not driving it down. So that doesn't need too much of paperwork other than, you know, an update pollution certificate and certain copies of other certificates that you have. And other than that, when it comes to the transfer of the car itself, my husband wanted an NOC so that we can later change the registration of the car. And to get the NOC from the RTO, he needed some paperwork first done at the police branch, and that was to just check if the car has no legal issues pertaining to it, like any accident or any crime associated with it. So this is something you will have to look into at your end when you're shifting. And again, it's best to get it done well in advance, because you know how these things are, they can take a few weeks, and if you're lucky it gets done quickly, but if you're not, it can take more time than expected. So best to get started on it as soon as you know about your move. And this last point is for all parents who are moving homes with kids in tow. So for this, all I can say is that it was extra stressful because you have 100 things on your mind and your child wants your attention. One of the main things you can do is to not pack away all their toys too much in advance. At least have some amount of toys that you're okay with them messing about with. And the other thing being that a lot of your products that would otherwise be stored away and kept safely away will now be accessible on the floor. So it's best to set aside one room to store these items and lock the room up so that your kid does not get into any kind of trouble accessing these products. And of course, if you are able to take a break, occasionally go out for a meal and relax, so that you're not always in a phase where you have trouble, you know, controlling your temper around kids, because it can be a very stressful time. So this is what we've done, and it's all gone well so far. Now it's just another 2 days to our move, and very soon we will be unpacking in our Bangalore home, and hopefully all the steps that we've taken here ensures that that process goes a little more smooth and cool for us. So this is pretty much our last video from our Goa home. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you showed on all our videos from this house. It was great fun sharing our journey here with you, and I'm very excited about sharing the next phase of our journey in Bangalore with you guys as well. Hope this video was of some use for you, especially if you guys are planning to move somewhere in the near future. Then you can take some tips and tricks from this video. Thank you for watching as always, and take care. Have a great day.